My name is Ivan,
And I'm Cayde.
and we're a trans couple that makes fantasy sex toys.
Hello, my name is Oliver and I'm a trans guy who makes videos about LGBTQIA+ people where they get to talk about anything that they want that somehow relates to them being queer. In May, I visited Linköping in Sweden and I took a little trip to a nearby town or village where I met up with Cayde and Ivan.
Yeah, my name is Ivan. I go by he, him pronouns.
I'm Cayde. I go by he, they.
I identify as a trans man.
I'm also a trans man.
They are a couple who run this business together and they first met online.
He slid into my DM! But not like that! You want to explain on Twitter?
Yeah, so one of our mutual friends retweeted your webcomic.
Yeah, I had a webcomic at the time.
And I was like, wow, that looks really cool, because you were doing it in watercolor, which is really unique. So I was like, wow, this is really cool. So I was like, hi, I like your comic. It's really nice. And then we just started talking.
I went to look at his profile. I'm like, oh, who is this? Who is this random dude? Oh, wow, his art is really good. Oh, no, he's really cute. We started talking, and we became friends. And then I decided, hey, I'm going to just be uncharacteristically brave and go to Sweden all by myself to meet this dude. And it just, the vibe was immaculate.
Yeah.
So.
Back then, Ivan was running the business himself.
It was something that I started almost 6 years ago now, because I was actually wanting to make packers and STPs because there's not a lot of stuff in Sweden. So I was like, how do you make this? Oh, you need to, use silicone and stuff. And I've also always these weird fantasy dildos. So I was like, I can just start practicing by making these things, and I'll get to the STPs and packers later. And then I just got stuck doing them because they're so fun. So it grew from just being a little kitchen project because I didn't have a job at the time, so I had a lot of time on my hands. And then it grew from my kitchen to we built a little extra guest house in my garden that I would be using. And then we kind of grew out of that. And then we grew into this really nice big office that we have now. So it's been kind of a journey. Now it's pretty much, it's how I make a living.
It grew so much that Ivan was able to hire Cayde, which made it possible for him to move from the US to Sweden.
And then he needed, genuinely needed an employee because he was just growing so much. And we're like, well, I already know how to do this and I'm trained in art and everything, so we'll get a lawyer and see if we can get me here, and then I'm here.
Yeah.
So what is the product they're selling?
Well, they're fantasy toys, and I just like to make things that's kind of not the stereotypical flesh-colored penis, because I think they're alright, but they're not wow. And I just want to make stuff that I myself want to see, sort of. So I've just been kind of making things that I like, and then other people really like them too. So that's just kind of how that went. And I can experiment a lot with shapes and colors, because we use cosmetic pigments, so it's the same kind of pigments you would have in eyeshadow and lip gloss and stuff. So that's where you get all the nice shimmer from. It's one of my favorite things to do, is just buy new pigments, because I really like all the colors and how they work together and stuff. It's really fun.
The process of making them has evolved a lot throughout the years.
I used to draw a lot and paint a lot, and I stopped doing that because of some circumstances in my life. And then I found sculpting instead, because I'd never sculpted before I did this. So I started doing that, and I'm like, wow, this just kind of clicked for me. So I started working in clay, and I would just make this clay stuff, and then you would bake it in the oven, and I just made these really rudimentary molds from it, because I didn't have a lot of knowledge. Because when I started 5-6 years ago, there was no courses, barely no information, so I just kind of had to learn on my own, which I also really enjoy. I like teaching myself stuff. And then we upgraded to like 3D prints. I bought a really expensive 3D printer, and I'm like, okay, now we're gonna do this, because it's really hard to make different sizes in clay, because you gotta like sculpt them like the same in each size, and I can't really do that. Like, it's really hard.
The sex toy industry isn't regulated, so you could basically use any dangerous material to do this. But Ivan has been really careful from the start to do this in a body-safe way.
I've been using the same material since I started, because I did a lot of research about silicone that is like safe for the body. And there's pretty much this one brand that pretty much everyone uses. It's really expensive, but it's one of the best. Like, it is really the best for this purpose. It's certified skin safe. So you shouldn't have like any reactions, like allergic or otherwise, to it. And we actually have a lot of customers that have stuff like vaginismus, or can no longer like take like larger toys, because tea can make you kind of like sensitive, like down there. We also have like grinding toys that you don't have to, get penetrated to use. But yeah, we get messages from people who have vaginismus who are like really grateful that we have, really like smaller items, because that's not a group that's been like talked about or like catered to a lot. And it's really important to me that everyone feels included. And also people who are ace or sex repulsed can use stuff, because they don't look like human things.
Yeah, we get a lot of people who say that they're really grateful that so many things that we have don't look like a human part, especially the lindworm.
They also make sure to be inclusive in other ways.
I mean, I do gender the toys sometimes, because like we have like characters like attached to them.
Yeah.
So I do like gender them sometimes, but we make sure to have like trans identified characters.
Yeah.
Like this is a trans
woman.
Yeah.
The selfie, which we don't have here, is also a trans woman
yeah,
character.
And then we have the Rido, which is like a trans masculine anatomy. It's a troll.
They are so busy that they don't have time to do everything that they wish.
Since we've been growing so much, and there's so many ideas and so little time, we've had 3 other sculptors do a few things for us lately. This one is actually by Ear at Xenocat Artifacts, who's a shop in the US. We have a few models from a sculptor called Mix, and quite a few of them from Scion. This one in particular it's my favorite. And we do still, do some of our own sculpting, but if there's something that we just have to have because it just fits our theme so well, we have to grab it.
Like they mentioned, the business is going well. They are selling around 100 products per month to customers all over Europe and the US. And they have even won some prizes for their creations.
I mean, we have a reliable job now, and it's a really cool job. It's a job that, I think a lot of people would like to have, because, I mean, my dream has always been to have my own, like, art-related business and make money from my art. And there's been people who told me in my life that, like, oh, you're never going to be able to do that. You should just give up on that dream. And now it's just, no, I'm not going to give up on that. So...
Ivan and Cayde are both neurodiverse, and it suits them really well to run their own business.
Well, I don't think I could ever work as employed to someone else. I just have to have my own times, my own schedules, because some days I will just be, because I have other disabilities, so someday I will be too sick to work. So if I can't work on a Monday, I can maybe work on the next Saturday instead. I can kind of have a very a rolling, very open schedule, which is good, sometimes bad, because you gotta make sure to have the work-life balance, which is, I'm still struggling with that, but it's getting better. We're good with weekends now. I used to work on weekends before, but then you get no time for yourself at all. And if you have no time for yourself, I burn out. I'm either a 0 or 100 as a person, and I'm actually learning from the business how to be maybe 50 instead of 100. It has its own challenges, but I think as a neurodivergent person, I need to run my own business, because I don't think I could be oh, you gotta be here at 8 in the morning every day. I can't do that. I can't do that.
let's finish the video with our dreams for the future.
I have a bit of a pipe dream to grow enough so I can employ other disabled queer people here, which I know we're like in the middle of nowhere, so I don't know if a lot of people, would live close, but that would still be like a dream of mine, to be able to give other people the same opportunities and to be a nice boss. I don't know. I don't want to be a boss, but like I would rather have a cooperative, I think. But I would like to give people the same opportunity, because we don't really have a lot of support for people here who are disabled and are trying to get into the job market. It's the same, like it's from Försäkringskassan, you gotta pretty much go to like a warehouse and stuff like that, and it's not really nice. Like I've been around that a lot and it did not work for me, and I don't think I'm the only one. So I would like to be able to offer people a chance at something fun and creative, and especially if themselves, are like interested in like, a little bit of weird stuff.
A place for the weirdos.
Yeah, a place for the weirdos.
If you enjoyed watching that video, please like, comment, subscribe and share the video. I really appreciate you showing your love in that way. If you also want to support the channel financially, that's possible via Patreon, but really no pressure. See you next time!